Happy Pride, everybody! Oh, hold on, honey, hold on. I am a Brazilian drag queen and I do have something to say. So Brazil is really great and we do have the biggest pride parade in the world in São Paulo, but still we face a lot of challenges over here. Being LGBTQ here is very difficult, and I want to talk to you guys today a little bit about my perception on how our community has been struggling over here. I do believe that one way to change the world and the culture and maybe reduce transphobia and homophobia is by telling our stories to people in a way that they can understand and empathize with our community. And I believe that a very good way to do that is by television. Like, I am a huge fan of a lot of LGBTQ TV series like RuPaul's Drag Race or Orange is the New Black and Queer Eye, Sense8, Pose, and Legendary. There are so many television shows that are queer, and all of this content that comes from other country to us over here. And I believe in the power of television as an instrument to tell a story, and by doing that, getting people to change their perception on things, because I feel like a lot of these TV shows have changed my life a lot and my perception on the world. But however, my community here has been struggling a lot with this because I feel like there is a huge separation between the mainstream culture and the LGBTQ community. The separation is so big that I feel like all the LGBTQ artists, doesn't matter how well they do, they can never reach the mainstream culture over here. It feels like if you are a LGBTQ artist in this country, it's almost like there is no way you can go mainstream. I mean, within our community, we do have all sorts of artists and black trans artists and all sorts of representation within the community, but it's like we can never reach the rest of society in a grand aspect of it because we have no television representation of our stories. I feel like we all in the LGBTQ community in Brazil, we all consume a lot of this content, a lot of foreigner television and music, and it changes our perception on what is it like to be an LGBTQ person. But when we step outside our homes, the reality is completely different than our minds and our debate, because I feel like the society, they have no empathy, or they don't know our stories because they are not being told on open television. So basically, I want to share with you that Brazilian television, it all comes down to 3 television channels, and they hold the power. They hold the power to influence the entire country. Only 3 television channels, and one of them is Christian. The other one is owned by this sexist old straight guy and the other one, the main one, they try to be really cool, but they refuse to put anything on national television that's gonna have a negative reaction. And so I feel like my community is not being represented on television whatsoever. We have no place there. And this has such a big impact in our daily lives because we all over here have been listening to the storylines of people in New York and in LA and everything through television, and in our own society we don't get to be shown at all. So it's literally like our stories are not being told in this Hollywood way to like showcase a story and be able to get to people's hearts and change their perception on what is it like to be an LGBTQ person. I see all these trans casts going on now on foreigner television, like Pose and Legendary and Laverne Cox on Orange is the New Black. And I see that people have been talking about Marsha P. Johnson and everybody knows who that is, but at the same time, in my reality over here in Brazil, our Marsha P. Johnsons are still dying more than anywhere in the world on the streets, being beaten and living in a society that doesn't really give a fuck, because honestly they have no knowledge almost on what is it like to be trans, and there are no people talking about it on national television. Brazil is one of the countries that most consumes trans pornography, and it's also the country that most kills transgender people. And this is really crazy, how the life expectancy of a trans person in this country is 35 years old. And we are not having our stories being told to society in a way that they can empathize with us. In a Hollywood sort of way, following a storyline like we see on this international series, there is not a national narrative going on over here like this. There are some LGBTQ people on the mainstream, like really getting to be in touch with straight cisgender people a lot, but it's almost like they can only be on television if they don't ever talk about being a LGBTQ person. They can only be it, but they can never talk about it. I feel like it's really unfair to us that we don't have this narrative telling our stories in a way that our society is going to understand. We consume a lot of content coming from other countries, and these people seem to be solving their problems on the other side of the world, but they don't really care about what's happening here. Everybody here is a fan of a lot of Americans, and they come here once in a lifetime, they get their paychecks and they go away with our pink money, work on the LGBTQ community abroad in their own countries, but they don't give a fuck about what's happening here, when we are literally being killed faster than anywhere else in the world. So I really think it's unfair with our community, how we know all the lyrics to Lady Gaga songs and Beyonce songs, but they never come here and they never pay us any attention. And the American culture is so busy getting to solve their own problems over there, but they can't look at us. I feel like Latin America's history is something to be really considered, because honestly, Spain and Portugal, they came down here and they left us devastated. Portuguese people left Brazil with pretty much nothing, and with a culture that's so cruel and so racist. We are still living the effects of colonization that was so heavy down here in South America. It's been really hard to recover, and it's been really crazy. I feel like most of my friends over here, we are all like hopeless almost, because the system seems unbreakable. Like we can never reach the mainstream. We can never take our cause to a next level like it's been happening in America, for example, with all this LGBTQ television, which is a really like soft way to influence people and bring the straight cisgender community closer to us and understand us better, because they are the ones who have the power and they won't allow us in. They won't tell our stories. I'm making this video because I really believe that the LGBTQ issue is an international issue, because I see all these people over there in America, like Taylor Swift making a video with all the American LGBTQ people, and we are all over here watching that, but they don't do anything for us. We are giving them our views and the streaming, and we play a huge part on the internet, but like the television and the system over here seems unbreakable and feels like my community is hitting a wall. I believe in the power of telling the stories. I believe in the power of touching people's hearts with good cameras and lights, because it has changed my life and my perception on the world. And it's just so sad that the same thing feels like it's never gonna happen here. All of this is so obvious to me that I even feel stupid saying this, but I need to record this video speaking this in English because maybe there's somebody out there who is interested in understanding the struggle of the community. And you guys need to understand that trans people are dying here faster than anywhere in the world. And we have no television representation. Sometimes it feels like we are hitting a wall and we don't ever seem to get anywhere. These three main television channels, they seem unbreakable. They seem to control the society in a way that no one is ever gonna get near it. And I do believe that the best way to showcase who we are and what we are all about is by literally invading people's homes in a way that if they don't want to see us, they need to turn their televisions off. But it's crazy when that's not happening and we are constantly feeling invisible and impossible to be seen or heard. It's really crazy that all the LGBT artists, they seem to be destined to be only gay famous. Like they can't reach society on the other level. We do dominate the internet, but there's no mainstream television. Honestly, our television doesn't really represent the reality of the entire country. There are no indigenous people on TV. And it's really frustrating as a fan of Lady Gaga and Beyonce and Rihanna and everybody out there and Taylor Swift, because we all consume that content so much. Is really frustrating as a fan to see that all these foreigners, they come here once in a lifetime, they do a concert and leave with their paycheck and don't really pay attention to how the community has been struggling over here. They just take the South American pink money and go back to their countries of origin to solve their own problems. As if the only LGBTQ community that existed was over there. While here, we are all listening to Lady Gaga's new album. It's crazy to think that in my lifetime, I've had to wait almost my entire life to have Pablo Vittar, who is a person from my generation, to be out there and representing our community in a way that I love on the mainstream community. Anyways, guys, maybe I'm just venting, but as a queer, gender, trans, drag queen, everything, as a person who is trying to fight for the community over here in this country, it's really difficult because I feel like it's almost like we are not getting anywhere outside of the community. We are not getting to tell our stories. In the meantime, people are dying on the streets. Transgender people are being murdered every single day, faster than anywhere in the world. And honestly, I do believe that if I know the lyrics to somebody's songs, I should be considered in their projects and in their plans and their investments and everything. So I feel quite mad on all these famous people from America because they are not supporting us at all. These drag queens from RuPaul's Drag Race, they literally come down here and have a paycheck of $5,000 or $10,000 while I'm here performing for $8. This is crazy. There's a lot of money getting out of our country and going to all these cultures over there who don't help us out. But we love them because the world is very Eurocentric and we tend to look up to the northern countries so much. But we are not even seen by you guys. We are not included when people are trying to help the LGBTQ community. They do this in their own countries with a lot of money they get from all over the world. I hope this video is useful to somebody out there who is watching. Our president is a dictator. He literally wants us dead. It's like there's no other answer. He's a dictator who has been trying to do everything to make this a dictatorship regime again. And we all as a community here feel really lost. So it's Pride Month if you watch this video, and maybe you can leave your opinion down here and tell me what you think about what I just said. And maybe you can share this video with your friends and possibly with people all over the world, because I feel like Pride Month is a month to be aware of what we are as a community all over the world. And the world needs to understand that there are communities living in other places in this planet who don't have the same privilege and are not on the same level of discussion on the causes of the community. So please share this video with your friends, just to spread awareness of what's going on and how me and my people and my friends are feeling over here. It's almost hopeless, but we are a great country and we do have a superpower to overcome all the bad situations and still find happiness sometimes where there isn't any to be found. So thanks for watching. Please share this video and leave a comment. Happy Pride!